Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Pishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swamiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunnavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhasya Kipa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitanang Papunebha Vaishnavevo Namano. Actually, I joined in Calcutta. So Srila Prabhupada used to come from the airport and devotees used to get down and on the road and they used to do the kirtan. You know, traditional in India, sadhu comes or Lord comes, they put the flower on the lotus feet of Lord or all the sadhus. So we used to make arrangement, the flower petals and give the basket, fill up. And that was my seva was, I used to bring the flower all the way, the temple was upstairs, so we get down and then devotees were chanting and I stand with them and some devotee will blow the conch shell. So when Prabhupada came down and next to Prabhupada I was putting the flowers on his lotus feet. And it is quite long. From if you go to Calcutta temple, you will see how little long, and then all the way upstairs, one after another upstairs, a step. So wooden step was there, so Prabhupada was going, and then all the way to temple inside. So then Prabhupada, Shri Radha Govindo, and then afterwards he will sit in the Singhasan, and Achyutananda Maharaj, he will wash his lotus feet and then dried up, then do the artik, then afterwards Prabhupada will give little lecture. And my seva, I was child, so my seva was not simple. So my seva was, when Prabhupada comes, every day make flower vases, and another seva was that I used to do, Prabhupada will get up 4 o'clock, so I used to do the 2 or 3 o'clock like that, I used to do the sandalwood paste for Srila Prabhupada with korpur, camphor and saffron mixed. And then I make it ready 4 o'clock when Prabhupada gets up, and I used to bring his room and put Prabhupada's forehead and one garland and bring two peru means the guava and dab, which is green coconut for him. So every day, whenever Prabhupada was 4 or 5 days, not much in Calcutta temple. So anyway, I used to give him, and one day he said, I don't want guava now. So I said, okay. So I took it and put it in the kitchen. We had a kitchen where space means very little, not much. So, and there is no door. So I kept on the shelf. Now, night, Prabhupada used to take muri, means kurmura, here everybody knows, which is puff rice, and 1 glass of milk. So Srila Prabhupada said, where is my guava? So now I kept on the shelf, but devotees those days are young, and who will take, whether gone or not, and Calcutta temple was such a place, there was no market or nothing, and 9 o'clock night is everything closed anyway, and we had a long way market was. So then I went round to the kitchen and saw still the guava was there. So I said, oh, Krishna's mercy. So brought back, gave Prabhupada, and he took. This is one incident. So I remember whenever I see the peru, means the guava, I always remember Prabhupada. Another incident was, I used to give Prabhupada flower vases every day. After he takes bath, like 11 o'clock, he will have nap. He will eat 8:30, then he will have nap. And then he will get up has massage, or before massage, 10, 11 o'clock, I used to go his room to give the flower vases. Every day go, he says thank you. So one day he didn't say thank you. What happened? Day before giving the flower vases, I gave the flower vases. That day he said thank you. And then evening he was giving darshan, or 5 o'clock, not many people came. Nobody was there. So I talked with Prabhupada little bit. Just 1 or 2 words. And nobody knows Bengali. So Brahmananda Maharaj was there outside. He saw, I'm talking with Maharaj, Prabhupada something. He ran to his brother, said she complained something, or I don't know. So after I went from Prabhupada's room, I went upstairs. We have upstairs, 3rd floor is ladies' room. Ladies used to stay. So I went up. Now it's almost Arthik time. I think all Arthik finished like that, and Gargamuni was telling me, Gargamuni was telling other devotees, where is she? Where is she? Oh my goodness. Then somebody called, I came down. Then Gargamuni, so heavy. So here is not here, that's why I'm telling you. So then what to do? Then Palika was Prabhupada's cook, and Sumukhi also Prabhupada, she used to make cake. There is Madhuri used to make cake, which is Tamal Krishna Maharaj's wife. So Sumukhi, we had no kitchen for Radha Govinda. We had kitchen for devotee kitchen, and also Radha Govinda other kitchen. And one kitchen was little. So they were in the corner. If it wants to make extra thing, there is hallway there. So Palika was making cake. Sumukhi was making cake, and Palika used to make something for Prabhupada. So they were there, and Gargamuni came down. He was, actually he didn't come down, he was in the office, he came out in that room. And then I came down from down, and then they said, what she did? What he said? Like that. And then Sumukhi and Palika fought with Gargamuni like anything. He said, why not? She can say whatever she wants. That's her grandfather. So then I didn't say nothing. Then Gargamuni went away. Next day, time to come to give the Prabhupada flower vases. So here all the devotees asked, can I go to Prabhupada's room? Here Gargamuni is sitting in the office, saying, instead of going to Prabhupada's room flower vases, I took Gargamuni's room, office. So then I stand there. He said, go Prabhupada's room. I said, no. He said, go. I said, no. Then 3rd time he said, then I thought, better go. So now I took the flower vases to Prabhupada. Usually, and Sutokirti Prabhu was there cutting the nail. He was Prabhupada's servant. He was cutting the nail outside. Prabhupada always used to teach them, don't cut the nail inside the room. That's not bad sign. So he was cutting the nail outside, and he was Prabhupada's servant, so he is outside. And he also doesn't know Bengali. Now I went for giving Prabhupada's flower vases. Usually he said, thank you, and come back. I come back, pure obeisance, come back. Today is the day, that day, he didn't say nothing. He's telling me, instead of thank you, he is asking me how many sisters I got. He's talking something else. And what class I go? I said, I was only class 7. So like that, he's talking this thing, that thing, and I'm so afraid. I want to get out from there. Prabhupada couldn't figure out. Prabhupada knows, of course, Prabhupada knows something, but I know this is the time. Now Sutakirti will tell, but my temple will be finished. He will tell now, Gargamuni will be more angry. So anyway, Srila Prabhupada was a nice man. He never said nothing. Instead of, he doesn't know even Bengali, but he didn't say nothing. And he didn't complain, so I appreciate Srila Prabhupada. Still today, he is my good godmother. Thank you, Srila Prabhupada. So this was 2 incidents took place. We have a time. I can say one more time. Short. So I have more story, but my husband has to tell something. Oh, that after I got married, 86, Bombay Temple, I came here. Day after we got married, 18th, 19th we got a train and came back here. 20th was this Gitanjali. 24th I joined the bookstall. My husband put in the bookstall. That was the first service in Radharaj Bihari, Bombay Temple. Thank you very much. All goes to Prabhupada. All goes to you. Hare Krishna.
She's still doing the book stall. In fact, this year she collected in the book stall $28,000. So I came here and I was distributing books in America, and I wanted to come to India because I calculated that Srila Prabhupada spent much more time in India than he did anywhere else in the world. So that if I came to India, I'd get more association with Srila Prabhupada. That was my calculation. So somehow now I was a trade to the BBT library party in India for one devotee who wanted to go to America. In those days they used to trade devotees like you trade horses, So I came to Bombay. It was I think the month of October, around Dasera. The rainy season was just getting over. And we went to Prabhupada's room to do kirtan for him. But Srila Prabhupada was too sick. So I didn't get really a chance to see him or to do any service for him there. So later it was decided, because the temple was under construction, they were trying to get it ready for the opening, but Srila Prabhupada wasn't well, so they were going to take him to Vrindavan, and then when the temple was ready, he'd come back for the opening. That was the plan. The day that Srila Prabhupada was going to leave, early in the morning, because Srila Prabhupada was going to go by train, although normally he went by plane, because it was just after the rainy season, the road from Delhi to Vrindavan was filled with chuck holes, and it would disturb him, if he went by car on that road. So they decided that he'd go by train, and from the tourist station, it's very near to the Vrindavan temple. So that was the plan. So he needed prasadam on the train. So devotees went and they cooked for Srila Prabhupada. And I can remember it was the first time that I made guava chutney. And I helped Nrsimha Chaitanya, who made the kachoris, and I made the guava chutney for Prabhupada's trip on the train. So we were working from like early in the morning. Prabhupada was scheduled to go on the deluxe, and I think he left around 9 o'clock or something. So after cooking all morning, I was tired, and I thought, okay, I'll sleep for a half an hour, and before Prabhupada goes, then I'll get up and I'll see him before he goes. But what happened was that I took rest. When I got up, somebody had locked the door from the outside and I couldn't get out. And that was in the C building. It's like on the, ground plus 2, and I was up there and I was looking down thinking, well, maybe I should jump, because Prabhupada was sick and I wasn't sure whether I'd ever see him again. But I didn't jump, and maybe that was a good idea. I'm not sure. And then, Prabhupada left. And not long after that, we went on traveling Sankirtan in Gujarat. And we were doing the libraries. We were going to various colleges and schools and trying to sell sets of Srila Prabhupada's books. And the most amazing thing is, it seemed like wherever we went, whether it was Surat or Bardoli or Navsari, wherever we went, everywhere the people said, oh, your spiritual master was here. Oh, he did a program in this school. He did a kirtan over here. And I started to realize Srila Prabhupada was everywhere. You know, there wasn't anywhere that he wasn't. And I can remember I went to one school and they asked me to speak to the teachers. So I gave a little talk to the teachers of the school. And then one teacher stood up and said, I'm a Christian, I object to this. Why is this, you know, this kind of talk going on here? We're supposed to be a secular state. He was very, very upset. So I said, listen, God doesn't see Hindu, Christian, Muslim. He sees us all as his children. And whatever religion you're following, God is happy if you love him. So then one of the Hindu teachers stood up and said, yeah, and started shouting at the Christian teacher. And then everybody started shouting at each other, and I thought, I grabbed my books and I just quietly went down the road, and I was walking down this, you know, rural road and listening back to the school while they were shouting and screaming. But anyway, finally we were sending our scores to Vrindavan for Srila Prabhupada's pleasure every week. And we send them by telegram. In those days, phones didn't work, but you could get a telegram message through pretty good. So Tamal Krishna Maharaj was every week reading what books we sold to colleges and libraries to Srila Prabhupada. And he told us later that Prabhupada said, these scores are keeping me alive. So eventually we got up to Ahmedabad, and in Ahmedabad I met Yasomanti Nandan Prabhu for the first time in the Ahmedabad temple, and the idea was that we'd take a break and go visit Srila Prabhupada in Vrindavan. So we left our van there and we took a train to Vrindavan. And as soon as we got to Vrindavan, we met Bhavananda, who was coming out of Srila Prabhupada's room. And we asked, could we go in to see Srila Prabhupada? Or he said, even before we asked, he said, go in to see Srila Prabhupada. Everybody can go, no problem, you can go to see Srila Prabhupada. So then I realized that, you know, if you want to come in contact with Srila Prabhupada, if you want to see Srila Prabhupada, you do it more through service. If you render some service to Srila Prabhupada, it's not that you'll have to see him, but that, you know, the doors will be open for him to see you. Hare Krishna. One other thing I'd like to mention is that, you know, in any organization, you have the very big leaders, the dynamic leaders, charismatic leaders, and those persons are very important. But another very important personality in any organization are the workers. You know, the people that are kind of behind the scenes and very faithfully doing their service. And we've had our number of big preachers here, and they've all played an important role, but at the same time, we've had a lot of the sincere, you know, whatever it is, they do their service kind of devotees. And I think those are the real foundation blocks that have allowed this temple to not only open in 1978, but keep going all these years. Like Subal Prabhu. Subal Prabhu had one leg, he was initiated by Srila Prabhupada, but he did so much service, even though he was crippled. You know, you can't imagine, from right early in the morning till he slept at night, he was serving Sri Sri Radha Ras Bihari, whether it was transferring the Mahaprasadam and locking it up so it didn't get stolen, or cutting subjis, or whatever it was. He was always doing service, right up until, you know, he was so sick that he couldn't do service anymore. So those kind of devotees are, and there's so many of them, and the list is very long. Another one that comes to my mind is Jagannananda Pandit Prabhu. He was older than most of us. He was from UP. Hindi belt. He knew Hindi very well. He could go on and tell Ramayana pastimes forever. If he wanted to, he could have been a big mahant somewhere and had many followers, but he didn't. He chose to serve Sri Sri Radha Ras Bihari in the Sankirtan department, and even at an advanced age, he was going out and taking a bus with other devotees on traveling Sankirtan, selling Srila Prabhupada's books very faithfully, very steadily, right up until the time he left this world. So these kind of devotees are also very important for any organization to be successful and to go on and be progressive. So we should also remember them when we have these kind of festivals, so that hopefully one day we can follow in their footsteps. Vaman Prabhu, I mean, the list goes on and on. You know, there's so many of them. They're very humble, very submissive, but very important to our temple. Hare Krishna, thank you very much.